Okay, here we are back on the Warco WM 180 lathe, and we're revisiting the cross drilling attachment that I made for the tool post. Now this is excellent. I'm really pleased with this. I've used this a lot since I made it, and this is the typical setup that I have: mini chuck, flexible drive, Hilda. Now, what I'm not so happy is basically the Hilda. Now this video was prompted by one that Rob did on his channel to Nudo, and I'll put a link in the description to that video. He was fairly certain that the Hilda's low speed on its lowest setting was a lot higher than what was claimed on the Banggood website. So he did a few tests and he was dead right. Now, in the defense of this, the Hilda is an excellent bit of kit, but it is basically a die grinder, which means it's a high RPM. So you're looking at, you know, 20,000 RPM. On the lowest setting, it's supposed to go down to 8,000, but it's actually, I've measured mine and it's 16,000 RPM. Now, that's way too high for drilling. It's fine for cutting and polishing and grinding, but it's way too high for drilling. Now, when it's on its lowest setting, it's got very little torque. So I'm only ever using small drill bits on here, 3mm, 1/8, that kind of thing. So if you're drilling into something like steel, the drill, it will slow down anyway, but it's still not ideal. So I thought, well, you know, I love this bit of kit. It's really useful. But for this particular purpose, no, it's not ideal at all. So basically, I had to come up with some sort of an alternative. Okay, so I needed something as an alternative to the Hilda to drive the cross drilling attachment. Now, I was going to go down the route. I was thinking about going down the route of Banggood sells some pretty good electric motors, some with chucks, low speed, high torque. I thought, yeah, maybe that would be the way to go. But then I thought, no, you know, what exactly do you need? Well, you need something with a chuck on it to take the flexi drive. You need a low RPM, relatively high torque motor, preferably a fixed speed, 1 or 2 different speeds, but low RPM is the important thing here. And I was scratching my head over this, and and basically the answer was staring me in the face. It's actually in this video now. Yep, one of these. Now this is an old Wolf electric corded drill from the 70s, which I've got clamped down here, and it drives my old Black & Decker sharp sand. And I know what you're thinking, why the hell are you using that thing instead of a proper belt sander? Well, a couple of reasons. One, this was my dad's, and he used it many years ago when he was building his model aeroplanes, so it's important to me for that reason. Secondly, it isn't actually a bad belt sander. You can still get the belts for it, especially when it's coupled to something like this. So I thought, yeah, that's what we need, one of those. So I had a look on eBay, and a few days later, one of those turned up. Now, it turns out that corded electric drills, I mean, that's a Black & Decker D420 from the 1970s. They are cheap as chips in the UK. I paid £7 for that, plus I think £3 shipping. Well, £7, that's like $10. Absolutely nothing. And it's perfect for what we want, because this is a dual speed electric drill, 900 RPM and 2400. And of course, it's got bags and bags of torque. So I'm thinking, yeah, perfect. Very low cost solution. However, we've got to mount it somehow, so back onto eBay, and it turns out the Black & Decker did a variety of different mounts for their electric drills back in the day. They did both horizontal and vertical. So I found one of these, brand new, old stock, for the staggering sum of £12. So as you can see, this is turning out to be a fairly cheap modification to the cross slide drill. And yeah, I've mounted it on a bit of, I think it's 18mm plywood. The one mod I did make to it was it's got a screw slot in this threaded bar here, which is the clamp. I just drilled a hole through it, put T-bar in. It just makes it easier to fit the drill into the holder. So here it is fitted. Now you'll notice that we have a attachment on this side. Basically, that's just an 8mm coach bolt. And what I've done is, take the cable out of the way, I've mounted a simple bracket on here on the end of the base for the lathe. And what we can do is basically slide that, basically moves around like that. I'll move the camera angle so you can see what I'm actually doing. Yeah, so basically this just slides into there like that, and then you lock it down with the screw like that, and this is nice and rigid. It doesn't move. Ideal. So yeah, so that's what the setup looks like now. And of course I can remove the drill and the stand very easily when I'm not using it, tuck it away out, and it's ideal. So does it work? Well, let's have a look. Okay, we've got a piece of scrap mild steel bar in the chuck here. We're all set up, carriage is locked. Let's give it a go. Yeah, no problem at all, and much better for the life of the drill bits than the Hilda was. So I think we can conclude that that was a success. Anyway, there you go, very cheap and cheerful solution for powering a mini chuck on a cross slide attachment on a small lathe like the Warco WM 180. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers!